There we go, all loaded up. Yay, it's exciting. We're loading Windows. I'm that excited I can't speak. And we're doing it. Install now. Setup is starting. Certainly hope so. That PC's making quite a noise. I do not have product key because I am peasant. Let's go for Pro. Yeah, why not? Because we can. So the license terms. Custom install Windows. Now this is where it gets a little bit kind of strange. Right, I'll be right back. Yep, and we sorted that one out, and it's all going. It looks like it's going fairly quickly, so this might be done sooner than we realise. Oops, didn't even manage to get the camera started up in time. It just restarted. Hopefully Windows figures out where the hell it is and starts that horribly laborious process of getting things ready on that black screen, but let's see what happens anyway. Focus, damn it. Starting up to something, getting devices ready. Okay, reasonably quick. There's not a lot to get ready, to be honest. Let's restart again. Come on. Stop mocking me. Yay. Oh, that's that. This is where it starts. Get going fast. Okay. I'm going to customize that. No. No. Yeah. Stop you snooping. No, I do not want to use Cortana. Just a moment. Does this mean we're actually going to be into the system very soon? No, we're not. Of course we're not. We're happy you're here. Getting things ready. Please don't turn off your PC. Well, I'm not that much of a tit. Well, it happened again. It was too quick for me to realise, and well, there we are. We've got Windows 10 set up on the old PC, something I wondered if it would ever happen at all. I'm just going to do some configuring and then I'm going to see what's up. And there we are. Graphics drivers are on, and I've installed Crystal Disk Mark. There's precious little else on the system, but it's running reasonably well, and I think we should probably have a look at the speed of the disk now, because I'm kind of curious, so off we go. That does show that there's some kind of limitation going on here, because this SSD was definitely capable of running speeds of over 500 on the read at least. The rest of it, I suppose, is fine, and the system does feel snappy, but it could be better. And what I will say is that it did get a lot better on the actual SATA bus itself. So this must be operating at PCI Express Gen 1. I think I might pack in for tonight. I mean, it's only like, what time is it? About 7 o'clock, just after. So I might just pack in for tonight, do a bit of research, and then possibly have a look at things. I might have to order a better SATA card, or if I find that the research yields the fact that this board only has Gen 1 on the one-time slot, then I will just be abandoning the whole SATA card idea, and I'll just be putting the SSD in like a standard port. But until then, see you in a bit. Well, it's a few days later. I've decided to have another crack at this. I've been looking at some information regarding my motherboard and the chipset, and it does seem like it should be possible to do it at about 500 megabytes a second. But anyway, we'll go through that in a little bit. But I've got a new piece of hardware. Let's have a closer look. So as you can see, this is a StarTech 2-port SATA 6 gigabits PCI Express SATA controller card. What a damn mouthful. And this should be able to deliver what we require. I mean, I don't think I need anything more than that. I think a one-time should be enough. But I'm going to put this in, and I'm going to see if this is going to work a little bit later. If it doesn't, well, okay, fine, this experiment was a waste of time. And £28. But anyway, let's have a look at the card before I do anything else. In many ways, there's nothing to look at here. It's basically a SATA card that does have 2 ports. Of course, I do lose having an mSATA on here, but that's not really a problem anyway, because while I said it was a clean look, I have to sort of put other drives in there anyway, and it's a bit messy. This may work because it is actually a named brand. StarTech stuff is usually pretty good, and they seem to be using a named component. That's a Marvell controller right there. Yeah, but this should work. If it doesn't, well, stuff it, we'll just put it through the internal SATA 2 controllers, because we know that does work. In the box you get a few other things. You get the usual kind of half-height adapter. You get a disc, which might be useful actually, because I might need to install this before I switch the cards over, because Windows may not boot with this if it's not in place. Yeah, all the usual stuff. It's got a few, looks like it's for loads of different models. And you've got the instruction leaflet, which is basically not going to probably be of any use, because I'm sure it's just going to tell us, put it in, use it, blah blah blah. Anyway, I'm going to show you some information relating to the board now. Well, the manual doesn't say anything about it. It does say PCI Express Rev 2 with an asterisk ×1 connector, but there's no asterisk anywhere else, and the entire manual doesn't seem to have any sort of indication what that could be. So I think it should still work. I'm just going to show you the information after this, but there's some great information there. Okay, so forgive the crudeness of this, but this is the P45 Express chipset that I ripped out of the... There's like an entire white paper on this and a PDF I found from Intel. This just explains an overview of the entire system. So you've got your CPU up here, you've got the North Bridge, which in modern CPUs, that's the same thing. And you've got the PCI Express lanes, that's all great. You've got alternate configurations, you've got the memory, blah blah blah. Apparently this chipset could take DDR3, I did not know that. Looks like I haven't quite got the high-end board. Okay, never mind. It does show the USB ports, but this is where we need to look. This says 500 megabytes a second each ×1. And what it seems to suggest is the chipset could potentially take about 6 PCI Express Gen 1, of the generation this one has, which is supposed to be 2 ×1. It can take 6 of those, if you wanted to configure it that way. Fair enough. But I don't know whether that means it's 500 megabytes a second each ×1 for every 1 times lane, which would mean that my 1 times card should run at 500 megabytes a second, or whether it's 500 megabytes a second for each controller that you put on there, and then however many ports is sort of subdivided, so you're pre-allocated. Mine's got 2, so it's probably maybe divided into 2, or maybe just for each controller. But it does seem to suggest, and I'm taking it this way for now, that this means for every ×1 lane it has 500 megabytes a second, which is consistent with PCI Gen 2, Express Gen 2, sorry. So there's that. Now I just want to get the card in. I kind of forgot, but I have to sort of use this thing again. Take the SSD off that and put it on there. Oops. Okay, so the card is in, and there's this delicate arrangement here on the board. It's a little bit sort of janky at the moment because, well, I don't really have the length of cable on this. There's a separate SATA cable up there, but I'm probably going to have to buy a splitter for this, because that's not going to work. So we're just going to have to test the system open. Well, I can close the door, but like this. I think we should connect everything up now. Okay, now the network connector isn't in, but I don't think we'll need that, so turn it on. Get up to there. Stab the delete key. Do you hear what I have to put up with? That's the CPU fan. It will eventually stop. Maybe. And that's the other screen. Seems like the escape key on the keyboard's broken, but so we will not be able to exit back out of these menus. Hard disk drives, okay. Still showing as IDE. Second drive disabled. Where the hell would we want that? Look, I am hitting the escape key and it's not doing anything. That is very annoying, so I'm going to have to save the bloody configuration. And go back. This is going to be so irritating. It's not looking good. It's worse than the last card. So it's worse than this cheapy little thing. There must be something I'm missing, because as you probably noticed as well, on the BIOS screen it did show that this was operating in 2.5 gigabits mode, which is, it's Gen 1, whichever way you cut it. Is this motherboard lying to us? Is it just a Gen 1 slot, in which case we'll never get any more than that? I'm going to do more research, and if it's not going to work, just screw this. Screw it all to hell. And there's the two results side by side. On the left is the cheaper AS Media controller on that Chinese card. And on the right is the Marvell controller on the StarTech. It's worse. So I don't really think there's anywhere we can go from here. I think I'm going to plot the next stage of modifications of this PC, and I'll let you know in just a few seconds. Okay, after a little bit of configuration, I've plugged the SATA drive just directly into the SATA port of the motherboard. Now it's showing up correctly as an HDD. It's also showing up correctly in the HCI configuration, so I'm just going to try and boot with this one. So I found no configurable setting inside the motherboard controls, no utility that I could download for the Marvell controller, nothing of any sort. So I plugged it back into the standard bus, and this is what I got. This is pretty much as good as it gets. This is using most of the SATA bus, and I think this is the best I've ever had a SATA based SSD on this controller in this PC. I think the other one I had, which was an 840 Evo, only ever got to 267, but then again that was a I don't know. Anyway, basically this is doing good. This is about all you can expect for SATA 3. No, sorry, about all you can expect for SATA 2. Please, God, Steve, just get it right. Yeah, this is a SATA 2 based system, so you have theoretical maximum of 300 megabytes a second. Excuse me. And that's brilliant. So yeah, let's wrap this up, and I'm going to show you the next round of modifications, because there are going to be some. Okay, so these are the items that I'll be buying for the PC. I mean, ignore such as this and the pretzels there, just I'm getting them while I'm here. But I've got a new SSD, which is going to be very nice. That'll take over from the MSATA thing, which is going to go on the PowerBook project, which is coming up. It is, honestly. I've got a SATA power splitter, which is required for some part of the case, because they just won't reach over, and I need one extra anyway. Also, there's one of these, hopefully to counter the problem that I've got currently where, you probably heard it, the bearing has gone on that. It's getting worse every time I use it. This might provide better cooling, and it'll help with that, although there hasn't got much of a cowling on the outside, so I don't really know how much airflow is going to get onto that fin stack, but we'll see. A new battery for my Acer. It's about time anyway, because that thing does not hold a charge. A bracket for the new PC, because I cracked mine and it moves about when you try and put cards in it. Incidentally, that now works. Don't really understand that, because it used to crash the PC all the time, but whatever. A USB card, which is better than the one that's in there for the old PC, because since I can't do the whole hard drive thing through a card, which is a damn shame, this thing means I can now put a better USB card in there. Why not? Spending ridiculous amounts of money. Oh, and lastly, the keyboard. Something I didn't expect to have to pay for, but yeah. The other thing broke, and that was not £34 when I put it in there. I'm going to have to investigate what's going on with that. But anyway, this is all going to have to be bought, and I shall see you in the next video, because I'm going to end this one. It's been too long already. Bye.